Ailin, can you please help me with my symptoms? Of course. I have very bad OCD, anxiety, and even some depression. My mind is constantly attacked with scary thoughts and scenarios. I can't live my life normally because I see my life through the lens of fear and terror. And what makes it even scarier is when people talk about thoughts and feelings manifesting into reality. I hope you can help me with what kind of food someone with a lot of mental illness and fear should eat and what herbs to take. Thank you in advance. Smiley face. Okay, so this is going to be a big one, guys. And I can actually relate to this personally because when I was chronically ill and suffering with my health issues in the past, I also was suffering from a lot of emotional, mental issues as well. So you name it, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, even OCD type symptoms, and a lot of fear-based scenarios. So I'm going to let you know how I addressed it and how I address it in the clients that come to me. So let's start off with, anxiety first and depression. So I've talked about anxiety a lot in all of our past videos, and depression especially, but I'll just quickly go through that and so we can try and cover OCD a little bit deeper. So anxiety is always going to come from an adrenal gland weakness. So what you have to do is if you have constant anxiety, even if it's like to the point of panic attacks, you should take an adrenal tincture or an adrenal glandular. It really depends on how chronically weak that adrenal gland is. In the iris at 6 o'clock, if you see a lesion emanating from the colon, from the hub of the colon and going down, that means it's genetic. If it's very dark, it's chronic. If it's black, it's degenerative. If it's in between, if it's a little lighter than like dark brown, or it depends on your iris color. If it's lighter, then it's going to be subacute. If it's hardly a weakness there, it'll be acute. It really depends on the splitting of the iris fibers, how you denote how weak that area of the body is. But yeah, oftentimes we will see an adrenal gland weakness, and like I said before in this video, it's like 8 out of 10 people that come to us with chronic adrenal gland weakness. So I personally recommend an adrenal tincture and or an adrenal glandular for anxiety, because that's where anxiety stems from. And now depression can stem from a few different places. Depression can stem from the parathyroid gland or the thyroid gland, because those glands perform calcium utilization functions in the body. So you'd want to take a parathyroid gland, thyroid gland formula. You can take both, but you really have to look at your eyes and see where it is you have that weakness. And sometimes people have a pituitary gland weakness and they won't have parathyroid or thyroid gland weakness, but the pituitary will be down, which would be affecting the function of these corresponding glands, and calcium utilization will be low in the body. So that can bring on depression. Another thing that can bring on depression is having a hypothalamus gland weakness. Hypothalamus gland weakness at 12 o'clock in the animation of life region. If you have a line or a lesion in your iris in that region, it can make you lack motivation, can make you lethargic, can make you, need a lot of hours of sleep in order to feel even a little bit energized. These symptoms can often mimic depression, so you'd have to look at that too. Also, motivation is a strong drive too. Sometimes if you have a cerebellum weakness, that's the sexual impulse region, that can also make you quite low, fatigued, and can mask itself as sort of having depression type symptoms. So these are like signs that I look in the eyes in iridology and how you will address it. You notice that we started talking about the brain area, so I would recommend brain and nerve and upper circulation formula to help regenerate those parts of the brain. Now, we covered anxiety and depression. Next is OCD. Now, OCD definitely has its roots in the hypothalamus gland. It actually has its roots in the area that's called the inherent mental area, or the reality/OBS/ADD region. And for people that have a lesion or brain lesion or a weakness in that part of the iris, they will often exhibit things like OCD type symptoms or ADD, ADHD type symptoms, like hyperfocus or like obsessiveness or addictions often, or a warped sense of reality. This is where fear can come into place. This is where OCD comes into place. So we have to really take a look at that area. That area actually is correlated with the hypothalamus as well. So what we want to do is, if you have a weakness there, you really would want to take a hypothalamus formula. There's a hypothalamus glandular. But more often than not, if you're just starting out in your detox, I would say spend some time consuming the raw foods. If I look at that area in your eyes and you're not too congested, I will give you a hypothalamus formula in your protocol to start strengthening that right away. But if you're quite congested, I hold off on the hypothalamus glandular, I hold off on the upper circulation formula, and you'll just do the brain and nerve, the adrenal formula, things like that. But it really depends on your eyes and the weaknesses we see in your eyes. But this is kind of like a close subject to my heart for me, because really in the past when I suffered from all this fear and this OCD, ADD type symptoms, it was really bad. At its worst, I was so scared that I couldn't even step foot out of my house. I was scared to take public transportation. I had so much social anxiety. I couldn't talk to anyone or be in any sort of scenario with people there. And my OCD had gotten so bad that I was obsessing over little things like, okay, the color of the shirt that I'm wearing that day. If it has to be the right color or I'm going to have a bad day, or the mug that I choose to drink my tea or my juice that day. If I pick the wrong mug, I'm going to have a bad day. Things like that. It also started to really control and rule my life for the worse, because I would put my brain in these scenarios where I couldn't go about my day and do what I had to do without things around me being perfect. Everything had to be perfect. Everything had to be put in its proper place. Nothing could be out of order, and I was really obsessed with trying to create the perfect environment in order for me to live in, or do anything that I had to do. So it was really detrimental to my life. And how I took control of that finally was, yes, I did a lot of emotional work and mental work, reprogramming and rewiring my brain, trying to step out of fear and just taking action, imperfect action, right? So even though things aren't perfect all the time, you just do it anyways. So I did a lot of that work, a lot of positive affirmations, all that stuff, meditation, all those things, right? But then I also knew that there was a physical root cause. I was quite congested up here. People that have those symptoms like OCD, fear, anxiety, depression, they're very occluded up here in the brain region, the sinus region, the neck region, the throat region, all throughout their bodies. So we have to understand the link between the colon and the head area. All those main glands that we talked about, the pituitary gland, the hypothalamus gland, they're located in the brain. How to drain the brain of acids and mucus and congestion, you want to clean up the colon, especially the transverse colon. Once you start to clean up the colon, getting proper bowel movements every day, 3 to 4 times a day, taking the GI broom, you're going to release all this mucus, then the head will start to drain and you'll start to experience mental clarity, positive thoughts, and everything will become more clear to you and you'll live a more positive experience. So the colon is very important. Achieving cold and flu-like symptoms is also important during detox, because like we said, before in the video, if you're waiting for kidney filtration to get rid of all the obstructions you have up here and your symptomology up here, you can be waiting a while. So you actually want to go ahead and, eat the raw foods, try and, promote a cold and flu-like symptom. Sometimes cold alkaline air helps to help get the sinuses to drain, but you want the mucus to come out of your throat. Coughing, spitting, sneezing, blowing your nose, all those things, right? Even your ears can start to push out these acids and congestion. So you want to focus on those. We mentioned the strengthening of the glands. Kidney filtration is still also a must. Okay, so you asked what foods And what herbs? Okay, so we discussed the herbs to take. And especially with that parathyroid formula, if you have a parathyroid gland weakness, you also want to take a natural form of calcium. Don't take isolated calcium though. Don't take a calcium supplement. You want something high in calcium like kelp or alfalfa or horsetail or oat straw or things like that, things that are high in calcium, along with the parathyroid formula, pituitary, whatever that you have going on. And then really it's about removing the foods that you're consuming now. I'm telling you guys, if you are consuming processed foods, you're going to feel the low vibrations of those foods. If you're consuming mucus forming foods, you're going to become more congested up here, and it will literally drag you down in your emotions. So the worst offending foods are going to be processed foods, foods that have sugar, not natural sugar, not like sugar from fruits, but we're talking about processed sugars, either white sugar, cane sugar, or things like that. You really want to avoid those sort of processed sugars. You want to avoid things that are mucus forming like grains, animal meats, especially the low vibrations from cooked animal meats, very detrimental, and cooked foods in general, detrimental. Dairy is a huge one. You want to avoid dairy. You want to avoid caffeinated foods, so coffee or chocolate, anything like that that aggravates and agitates the adrenal glands, that can put you into states of anxiety or paranoia. You want to avoid those. And then you want to focus on the fruits that actually have the highest vibrational energy, so that you can, by consuming those high vibrational foods, increase your vibrational energy. If you're at a high state of vibrational energy, negative thoughts don't affect you. They don't come into your existence. The fear is not going to be controlling your life. So really it's about achieving the angstroms in your body. So angstroms is a unit of energy, and everything that we consume has a unit of energy. Our bodies are also units of energy. So to put it into perspective, watermelon or any sort of fresh whole fruit that has not been cooked is about 9 to 10,000 angstroms. Some of them even 11,000 angstroms. Raw vegetables, they're okay, they're pretty good, they're pretty healthy, right? They're not as high as fruits though. So vegetables that are raw, they're going to be around, like 7 to 8,000 angstroms. Below that, you'll have like your cooked vegetables. They can be around like 6,000 angstroms to 4,000 angstroms. And all the way on the bottom of that chart is cooked meat, 0 angstroms, 0 vibrational energy. Above that, you have pretty much everything else in between. Grains, things like that. There'll be maybe like 2,000, 3,000 angstroms, but you see how you want to eat more from that high angstrom level. Your average human being is walking around at 6,000 angstroms. Once you've reached a very degenerative state or diseased state like cancer, you're maybe at 4,500 angstroms, even lower. The lower your angstroms are, the lower your vibrational energy, the more disease will come into play, into your existence. Okay? So you want to eat more of the high vibrational foods and completely omit and cut out the low vibrational foods. All right? I have personal experience with this, and I've seen it time and time again. People come to me and tell me, oh, I was doing pretty good with the raw, or I was eating pretty healthy, and then the moment I had this processed food, like a bag of chips or a pizza or, this like a piece of cake or something like that, then depression just hit me. It just hit me like a ton of blocks, or anxiety hit me like a ton of blocks. When your body becomes so clean, you become more in tune with your sensations of what food is actually good for you and makes you feel happy, and what food brings you down. So you want to get to that state, you want to get to that awareness, right? It's all about becoming more aware and with awareness, you can actually take care of your body. And so your experience will be much better, right? I wanted to touch back on the hypothalamus gland though, because this is an experience that a lot of people, they have trouble with. People with a hypothalamus gland weakness, they can often have trouble taking care of themselves because the hypothalamus gland controls body homeostasis. So it alerts you when you're hungry and you should eat something, when you're thirsty and you should drink something, when you should use the bathroom, when you should take a break and get rest or sleep. And when that's not in proper function in your body, then things can, your health starts to decline, obviously. So it can be hard for these types of people to follow a raw diet because it's very, aware, and you have to make sure that you're eating all throughout the day raw foods and taking care of yourself and taking herbs. So in those cases, I would recommend a hypothalamus glandular right off the bat to help promote the rewiring of the brain in wanting to take care of itself, right? In alerting you with its nerve impulses, like, okay, it's time to take care of yourself, right? But yeah, guys, I want to tell you, and this person in particular, with that sort of OCD type feeling and that fear that's coming over you, it's only taking over you because you are using it in its negative aspect, in its negative form. In its positive form, it can actually be a wonderful trait, like a superpower for you. People that have had like ADD or OCD type symptoms in the past, once they heal, once they get on a raw diet, they can accomplish pretty much anything they set their mind to. These sorts of people have hyper focus. So you can actually shift into the positive aspect of that, weakness in and of itself, right? And shift it into focusing on positive things, like accomplishing your goals, right? And, we're really only on this planet, on this rock in space for such a short amount of time. So now, this is easier said than done, right? But I feel like I can speak to it because I've been there before. But you do want to spend as much of your time enjoying yourself, spend your time thinking positive thoughts or, daydream about positive things, because you only do have such a limited amount of time on this earth. Each human being does, right? So I'll leave it with that, but yeah, I hope I was able to answer your question. I would say the last thing would be surround yourself with beautiful things too. If your environment, if you don't like it, change it up or, take a break from it. I often find that spending time in nature, it becomes very difficult to hold yourself in that fear vibration or that feeling of depression or anxiety. It's very difficult because nature is just so high vibrational. If you put yourself into that environment, if you consume high vibrational foods, you'll see all your health issues, all this stuff that you mentioned will be gone. And definitely, if you have a chronic gland weakness in any of those areas, take those herbs. The herbs are going to help you heal and regenerate those weaknesses, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you taking the time here with me today to go over these questions. I really appreciate you taking an active role in healing your health issues. We need more people that are more health conscious nowadays, so that when you heal, you then inspire other people to heal themselves, and then it's like a ripple effect that can be felt all throughout the world. And thankfully, more and more people are falling in line with natural healing and believing in it, and using that instead of the chemical toxicity that comes from taking medications and going the medical route. Really, it is about healing the root cause of disease. And with that, with the healing of our physical body comes the healing of our mental and emotional and spiritual body. So I would say detox is of utmost importance now more than ever in the day and age that we're living in. So thank you to all of you that are taking an active role in your health. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm here for you. to help assist you in any way that you need. And really, if you are suffering a lot with any chronic health issue, I would urge you guys to get in contact with me. I'll help guide you. I really recommend the Master Your Health package for those of you that want to work with me. In the Master Your Health package, I read your eyes, I go through your health history, your case, everything that you've been through, your genetic family health history, and with all that information that's gained with your health forms and in the call that we have together, we'll talk to each other. It's normally ranges about 2 hours or even more. I really, give you the time that you need in order to help you fully understand what's causing your health issues and how we're going to go and move forward in healing them, with the diet, the right diet. Every person's diet is going to look different depending on what you're trying to heal, depending on how toxic you are, depending on how bad your weaknesses are. Everyone's diet protocol looks different from person to person. And then your herbal protocol is also going to look very different. But based on that, I will formulate your diet protocol, your herbal protocol, the detox tools that you need too, that will help prevent, any sort of unnecessary detox symptoms that you don't have to experience, or if you do experience them, these detox tools will also help. And these detox tools also help enhance detoxification when you need it. And then you also get an iris analysis with your eyes clearly labeled and explained to you during the call. And and a ton of other information. So I really recommend the Master Your Health package. That package has helped so many people. It's crazy. We have about now, it's been thousands of people since I've been doing this for so many years. So I really recommend that Master Your Health package. It brings everything that you need to start today to finally get to the root cause of healing your health issues. And for those of you that really just want an iris analysis, then we also have that option on our website too. And we also I finally am able to open up the VIP services to you guys, because for a while I was backed up in my VIP clients, so I really couldn't take anyone anymore. But now I finally have a few openings, just a few openings though, because with VIP clients I'm very involved. I'm there for you all the time, so it takes a lot of time. But for those that are interested in working with me one-on-one at a VIP level, you can have a look on our website for that service. And so all the services mentioned can be found at www.spiritropicalhealing.com. So yeah, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful day. And until next time, if you want me to answer any of your detox or health related questions, leave it in the comment section down below this video. If you like this video, leave a like and share this video with anyone that really needs to hear this information. There's so many people suffering out there that need to hear this information. So you can be that first person that introduces them to detoxification. And that's truly powerful. So I love you guys. Take care. Bye.